Okay, good evening. Welcome to the school board meeting. We're glad everyone could come. This meeting is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Opportunities for public participation will be permitted in accordance with policy 167.3. Before each board meeting, the board is given a packet of things that we're going to be discussing and voting on and things at the meeting. That way we have time. We go over everything, ask questions, and get everything answered and ready for us to come tonight to vote on that. So I am now going to call the meeting to order. If everybody could stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There are no public comments for the meeting this evening, so we will move to the consent agenda. And in this section, there is no discussion, so I will ask for a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second, please.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the consent agenda motion passes. Let me get it all accepted. We're done. Okay, we are now moving to field trips and professional travel.
Okay, Mrs. Deb Schoolcraft requests permission to take the AP Physics class in the Science Club to Kings Island for Education Day on April 24th, 2020. That's one field trip. And the second field trip, Mrs. Carrie Randall and Mrs. Shay Rafferty request permission to take a group of freshmen to the Illinois Holocaust Museum in Skokie, Illinois, and Navy Pier in Chicago, Illinois on Saturday, April 25th, 2020.
I ask for a motion to approve the field trips and professional travel.
I move to approve the field trips and professional travel as presented.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. We are now ready for reports, and the first one will be from Dr. Arthur.
So the first order of business, just as a reminder, we talked about this actually in the last two meetings, but I want to make sure that we have it on the record and people are aware that the state of Indiana, the legislative folks, our governor, agreed to move $150 million from the surplus fund, or from surplus funds, I should say, to the post-1996 teacher retirement fund. So we refer to that as TRF in the school business. That is a fund that holds all the money that eventually pays out teacher pensions once teachers retire. What that does for us as a school district is that it lowers the amount of money that the district has to pay into the pot for retirement this particular year. So it's a one-time $150 million into that pot that then gives school districts the ability to use that money for other purposes. So we fully intend as a district to use that money, that $218,000 to be exact. We intend to use that money and make it available for our bargaining process as we bargain for teachers. So that's one more piece of the pie that we can talk about in the bargaining session. And so we're happy that we have those additional funds. More than anything, we just need to get on the record that, again, that money is being used for that and that we're not using it for other purposes. That's it for that one.
Okay. And now the human dignity policy consideration.
Sure. So another thing that I want to bring to the board tonight, and this is will be a part of an ongoing project and several other projects. We as a district are very progressive in our athletic programs and our academic programs. We're very progressive in how we support our students. One missing piece in that I see as the superintendent coming on board is that we don't have a written stance on what we believe about how we treat our students and what those guardrails are for how we treat our staff. So I'm very focused on ensuring that every student and every employee feels valued and a part of our district. And I think that we need to make sure that we put those things in words and people know those things. So in the coming months, I'll be soliciting some volunteers for some community input, community committees. That will involve school people. It will involve people from the community who have no direct connection to the school district, but we want that to be some broad-based committee work to explore a written policy statement on what human dignity means across our community and what it means for our students in our school district. I intend to have students on that committee as well, or at least to get input from them. I believe as we advertise the MSD of Martinsville, it will be imperative for outside people to know all the great things that are happening here and what we believe about what we have to offer our students. I think it's imperative that outside individuals who may be considering a move to Martinsville know that and know what we stand for and believe for our kids. So I look forward to sharing more with you as that committee work unfolds. There's nothing that we're doing today. We're not starting anything today. There's nothing to vote on, but I want it as an informational item to let you know that this all kind of rolls into our marketing and our work on increasing enrollment and making sure that everybody on the outside knows all the great things that happen on the inside of Martinsville. We continue to struggle with getting the word out to press outside of Martinsville. Oftentimes the Indianapolis network stations are not as tuned into our area unless something goes wrong, and we're really trying to change that. We want to show them, no, these are the positive things that are happening, or these are all the great things that our kids do and our community does. So this is a large part of that, and that's really kind of taking a stance and putting it in writing. So I'll come back to you probably late spring into the summer with whatever we come up with as a committee.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing more.
Thank you.
So now we're going to move to other business.
Okay. Other business. I'd ask that, or request that you accept the following donations, sponsorships, and grants. Bear with me, we have a lot of money on this list, which is an awesome,
It's a good thing.
an awesome thing. Might have to take a drink of water in the middle. $1,000 to Family Services Coordinator Patty Osler from the Walmart Foundation to ensure that we're supporting our kids with some of our most significant needs across the district. $600 to Green Township Elementary to the Student General Fund for additional Lexia license from Community Foundation of Morgan County. That is to support reading initiatives. $500 to Jessica Huff's kindergarten classroom at Centerton from Walmart Community Grant. $1,000 in equipment and supplies for the TBRI in all classrooms at Brooklyn STEM Academy from A Squared. $1,050 to Craig Cowden for Bradford Woods from Don and Beverly Cowden Foundation. Really appreciate that, thank you. $4,400 to the band ECA Marching Artisans at Martinsville High School from Morgan County Pork Producers Association. Again, thank you. $5,670 to the band ECA Marching Artisans at Martinsville High School from Learfield IMG College. Indy 500 seatbacks. $500 to NHS at Martinsville High School from Delta Theta Tau. $600 to J. Marks FFA at Martinsville High School from the Morgan County Pork Producers Association. $500 to Martinsville High School Music Department from the Healthier Morgan County Initiative. $3,500 to the Martinsville High School Athletics from Franciscan Health. $400 to MHS Athletics from Clear Creek Fisheries, and $3,500 to the MHS Athletics from Foley, Peden, and Wisco.
Ask for a motion to approve the donations as requested.
I move to approve the donations.
A second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
So the next item, we request to approve a $15,000 AT&T grant for Martinsville High School for the Pride Rewards, the VEX V5 systems, 4 VEC pneumatic systems, and competition field.
I ask for a motion to approve the grant as requested.
I move to approve the grant.
A second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
Next request to approve the disposal of surplus items by Phil Deckard and Associates to an auction.
I ask for a motion to approve the disposal of items by the auctioneer as requested.
I move to approve the auction and the auctioneer.
I second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
Request approval for the 2019-2020 Martinsville High School Athletic Worker Pay Scales.
I ask for a motion to approve the pay scale as requested.
I move to approve the pay scale change.
And a second, please.
I second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
On this next item, we request permission to approve the extracurricular account year-end report for the 2018-19 school year and the extracurricular account risk report for the 2018-2019 school year. Just to give you a little bit of additional information, this is a State Board of Accounts self-audit that we do each year to ensure that we have policies in place for how we handle credit cards, how we handle cash, those kinds of things for our extracurricular accounts.
I I ask for a motion to approve the ECA reports as requested.
I move that we approve the ECA reports.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
If you will bear with me for just a second, I'm going to skip 6 and come back to it. So we can do these kind of in order so they make sense. We're going to go to 7 and 8, and then we'll come back to 6. So number 7, request permission to approve Resolution 428 for emergency allocation not to exceed $165,250 to update the auditorium lighting at Martinsville High School. Before you vote, I would like to say a couple more additional words about that, if you don't mind. As you know, we're in the middle of the auditorium project, and as they were peeling back the ceiling, they did find some spots where they have some basically heat damage in the ceiling, something that we can't ignore, and we want to make sure that we're not putting anybody at risk by putting things back and covering that. So this money will go to replacing the lights that are causing those problems. It was an unanticipated cost.
I ask for a motion to approve Resolution 428 as requested.
I move that we approve Resolution 428.
I second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
And then item 8, request of permission to approve Resolution 429 for emergency allocation not to exceed $19,800 to install a fence at Brooklyn STEM Academy. This will replace the existing fence that is broken and has some broken spots in it. It is currently not doing a very good job of separating our playground from the White River.
I ask for a motion to approve Resolution 429 as requested.
I move that we approve Resolution 429.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for your patience with rearranging those. So we can go back to 6, and then this will all, I think, make more sense, because the rest are all budget related. Request to approve the Resolution 427 to transfer amounts from the Education Fund to the Operations Fund. This is that one time a year resolution that you all have to vote on to allow us to move that percent once we receive our money in January.
I ask for a motion to approve Resolution 427 as requested.
I move to approve Resolution 427.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
Next item, number 9, request to adopt the 2020 bus replacement plan resolution. This will allow us to spend the money on those new buses.
I ask for a motion to approve the bus replacement plan as requested.
I move that we approve the bus replacement plan.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries.
I love when you guys fight.
I know.
for a second. Makes it exciting.
I know, everybody's after me.
We're on 10, right? Request to adopt the 2020 capital projects plan resolution. So these are all the construction projects for the year of 2020.
I ask for a motion to approve the CPF plan resolution as requested.
I move to approve the CPF plan resolution.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries.
This final one is just request to adopt the resolution for appropriations and tax rates, including the 2020 budget. And so as we talked at the last budget hearing about our tax rate for Morgan County and what we're using as our tax rate for how we're generating funds for our capital projects and things that you've already approved. Each year we have to recognize what that tax rate is and be clear to the public that we're passing a resolution that aligns with that previous hearing that we had. So that's what this is.
I ask for a motion to approve the resolution and budget as requested.
I move to approve the resolution and budget.
Second, please.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the motion carries. And we'll now have our time for the superintendent's report.
You might need a cup of coffee. These are all good things, so I want to make sure I'm sharing them. We've had a lot of great things happen in the last month, and so I want to make sure I'm sharing some of these fun things and things that have happened that have been great for our district. First thing, might not seem like a celebration, but it is from my perspective. Our average daily membership count was on September 13th. So each year in the fall, we have a count day. That was, again, September 13th, a couple of Fridays ago. Fortunately, I can report that we are at 4,237 students as of the date of this fall count, down from 4,301 students at last year's fall count. Initially, you might think, well, we're going backward. That's not good. What I can tell you is that we were predicting that we were going to be more than 120 students down at this time, and we're actually down 64. So from my perspective, that's better news. It's not perfect news, but it's better than what we expected, and that helps us with our revenue for this next year. We will continue working on that issue, and here pretty soon I'm going to be talking with all of you about looking at a demographic study and how can we get some more information and science behind what's going on so we can make some good decisions moving forward, or at least plan, I guess I should say. I'd also like to take a second to thank the Lions Club for hosting, and Craig and I, and so we really appreciated that. We had the opportunity, was it yesterday? It's all running together, thank you. Have an amazing lunch and fellowship with the Lions, and we appreciate all the great things they do in our schools. So they're a very supportive group, and we appreciate that. So thank you. And they even let me speak. They didn't boo me or anything, so that was pretty amazing.
Not to interrupt you, but we enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
Both of you and Craig both.
Thank you. I want to let everyone know how proud I was of our students. A couple weeks ago, I know it's actually been, I think, 2 Fridays ago when Operation Football was here. If you were up at the football field or if you saw it on TV, our kids were awesome. They were so well behaved. They did everything they were supposed to do. You know, when you're on TV, it's pretty prescribed on the back end what they're telling the kids to do and where they want them exactly and in front of which camera, and they were amazing. And so it was a really fun morning. And I do want to apologize to the neighbors because I know at 4:45 in the morning, the lights were on and the kids were screaming. We were all screaming,
That's true.
adults included, and music going, and so we appreciate everyone's patience. Hopefully that's only happens every once in a while at 4:45 in the morning, so thank you. I also want to say a sincere thank you to Mr. Perry and his publication class for allowing me to participate and be the center of a press conference this past week. That was pretty exciting. So his students fired questions at me just like, you know, I was the president and they were the press corps. I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous going into that because I didn't completely know what I was stepping into, but they were awesome. They asked some very eloquent questions and expected direct answers from me, and so I gave them direct answers, and so it was a fun time. I enjoyed that. I'd also like to share that this week, actually it may have been last week, I had the pleasure of meeting with Sheriff Rich Myers, Captain Walter Mood, and Prosecutor Soniga to discuss the current crime trends in our community. A solid partnership exists with these folks. It was a really, really nice 2 hours, and if you've been watching the news, a lot's been happening in Morgan County, so they're pretty busy right now. But they made sure to make the time to come over and sit down with us for a couple of hours and talk about Martinsville's safety and talk about how that relationship works with our school district. We talked about some different things that perhaps we want to consider moving forward. We shared some ideas with them and possibly sort of furthering our relationships with them down the road to make sure our kids are even more safe as we move forward. So I think as we work together, everybody wins. So we'll keep working hard on that relationship. But like I said, all 3 of those folks were amazing and very supportive of the work that we're doing. Yesterday we had the opportunity to host a number of the Purdue Extension folks. So if you know anything about Purdue Extension, 4-H, homemakers, etc., a retired group came down from Purdue. I think there were, 30 or 40 people who came and got to witness, or got to see Wooden Jim and hear from Eric Bolin and some other individuals about the history of John Wooden, which was super exciting. And then they then transitioned over to the high school and were able to be a part of some RD Intel stations that they rotated through. And I posted a little bit of video on Twitter. It was pretty fun to hear people who had not experienced that get to experience it with our students. So that was pretty awesome yesterday. I'm almost done, I promise.
You're fine.
Finally, I want to say we're losing 2 amazing colleagues in our central office here real soon, and I want to recognize them. First, I'd like to recognize Doree Fry. She's actually not here this evening. She's been administering benefits and paying our employees for a number of years. To say we'll miss her is an understatement. She holds the keys to a lot of information and a lot of history about how we pay people and contracts and all of those kinds of things. Has done a really nice job of caring for our staff over the years. Doree's son is a Martinsville High School soccer player, and that's the reason she's not here tonight. She's out in the crowd cheering him on. So she's out with Jackson and her husband. But we wanted to make sure that we publicly recognized her for her years of service to our district. She has accepted a new role with Morgan County, and we're super excited for her in that next step that she's taking in her career. So we're glad that Martinsville was able to be a part of that. I'd also like to take an opportunity to recognize Carmen Jordan, who's our board secretary, but also my administrative assistant. She has taken a position with Indiana University, and so this will be actually your last board meeting, right? So next meeting might be a little less organized. Just going to warn you ahead of time. But I do want to say that Carmen has made my transition into the district amazingly smooth. Before I even got here, she was sort of on that transition team and helping me get my feet where they needed to be. And I know the board thinks very highly of her too for all of her support for the board. So thank you for your service, and we look forward to continuing to see you around, but we know we won't see you here every day. So, but thank you. And that's all I have.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I always say this the same thing every time. This is my favorite thing. We get to say all the praises. And the first one is to thank Smith Fine Arts Academy for the wonderful stories that they're presenting on Facebook for the students to listen to at bedtime. I don't know if any of you have ever seen it, but some faculty member, and Craig even did it one night, they read a story and tape it, and then any student that wants to can listen to it as a bedtime story. So I think that's really neat, and it's a personal touch, and they're enjoyed by a lot of students. So now we get to embarrass Carmen. Carmen was so instrumental in helping us when we were finding our new administrative team, and I called her and I said, I'm sorry to bother you again, but she was always there and helped us. We greatly appreciate everything you do. We're going to miss you. We're excited for you, but you can come back to a board meeting whenever you want. But I want to.
But there's a
present this to
stipend.
you. We love you. We're glad you were here. Thanks. We appreciate you greatly.
We do. I second that. There's not a vote, but I second it. Thank you to our wonderful volleyball team, students, staff, and community for their support for the Bridget Balsarac Night at the high school on Tuesday. It was a great event to honor an inspirational young lady. And even though it's not stated, this lady, before the age of 18, has not battled cancer once, but twice. She's a very remarkable young lady and has a remarkable family, so thank you.
Probably aware that we're in the middle of homecoming week this week, and tomorrow night we have our homecoming football game, and a game against Franklin Community. We hope everyone can attend and support our football team and enjoy all the festivities. Reminder also that after the football game, we will have a community bonfire, and it will take place in the old Dry Bread parking lot on the south end of our parking lot.
And there's going to be a lot of skids out there, so it'll be a big fire. Be sure to view the podcast that can be seen on Tuesday before each board meeting. It is being done in the new media room here at CEC. Thank you to Brian, Rachel, and everyone involved in completing this project. So congratulations, Brian. Rachel.
And finally, we would like to remind everyone that October 3rd will be an e-learning day.
Okay, our next board meeting will be held on October 24th at 6:30 here at the CEC, but that's a week later than normal because the week we normally meet is fall break. So we've scooted it over a little bit. So that's a change in date. Then it'll be October 24th. I ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
A second? They didn't fight for this.
Someone.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for everyone for coming.